Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is week 2 of 7. This semester is going to fly by for us in ENC 1102. But do keep in mind every Monday I'm going to come back here with you and kind of help you get through what to expect for the week. Week 1 has been a great success so far. Almost everybody has already participated in the discussion board, so I thank you for your intros. It's always wonderful to get to meet new people. And thank you for the photos. I know a lot of people decided against the video. I understand. But I appreciate getting to see you in whatever form that might take. So let's take a look at what's happening in week 2. And of course, as usual, just as a reminder, if you have any questions this week, never ever hesitate to reach out. Inbox is the fastest, usually, way to get in touch with me, honestly, because I'm on the computer all the time. So don't don't be afraid to hesitate. Don't hesitate to reach out via inbox. The second week of the course, and we'll take a look at the schedule here. We are going to be looking at short stories. And so we have 2 short stories that are in our LibGuide that you're going to read: Cat in the Rain by Ernest Hemingway and Everyday Use by Alice Walker. Both Hemingway and Alice Walker are American writers. Hemingway was writing in the early 1900s and Alice Walker in the late 1900s. In addition to the stories, there are author biographies and criticism in the LibGuide, and I'll show you how to navigate to that. You're going to be choosing one of the 2 stories for your fiction paper. So I would read both of the stories and both of the bios for the authors so you can get some background of them. As far as the articles that are, delving into literary criticism, you may want to skim those right now, but when you pick which story you want to write your fiction paper about, you are definitely going to want to read the ones that are there because those can then become the sources for your fiction paper. And this week, your 2 assignments, one is to present your thoughts on a story. The other is the preliminary bibliography for the fiction paper. So it is important to be figuring out which story you want to focus on and choosing those sources. By and large, you can write your papers for this class without having to do a lot of extra independent research. Some of you will want to, some of you want to look at things online and things like that, which is great. But the library has compiled sources that are useful and that are academically sound. So let's take a look at the module and take a look at what you're choosing from. So the learning materials link, of course, has links to the LibGuide. As I mentioned, everything you need this week is in the LibGuide. So if we click on the link, of course, it's going to take us to the fiction page. And there's the 2 short stories. So we have Ernest Hemingway's Cat in the Rain, and we have Alice Walker's Everyday Use. And I just remembered that Miss Rackley had to add that. So I'm going to make sure that I obtain that for you from my other class because the link in the library quit working last semester. I just remembered that. So I haven't updated your class yet. Anyway, you do still have access to the author biographies. There's several for Hemingway. There are several for Alice Walker as well. And then you have the critical analysis. There's a bunch for both stories. These are both very well-known American authors, and so there's a lot of writing about these particular stories. So you may not need to do any additional research. However, you are going to need to create your initial bibliography. So let's look at that assignment real quick, and then I'll show you how to cite the sources that are in the LibGuide. Okay, so in the modules, oh, and also there's lectures and other stuff for the module this week. I didn't mean to shortchange that, but I got sidetracked. So we're going to look at the assignment for the preliminary bibliography for the fiction paper. The assignment for the fiction paper is linked within this one. So I would also take a few moments to review the actual paper assignment. But this week, all you're working on is your bibliography. It is not an it 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 is an annotated bibliography, but you're not going to have to write a lot about each of the sources. You will have 10 sources on this bibliography, at least 10. One of them is going to be the story itself. The others are going to either be literary criticism or scholarly interpretations, which would be the ones under critical analyses in the LibGuide. And the others will be what we call tertiary sources. So those could be things from encyclopedias, general reference works. It could be those author biographies. Those would be considered tertiary sources. So for each one of them, you're going to have an MLA citation and you're going to have the annotation, which is the basically a summary of what's in it. Okay. Now, I do have a sample MLA bibliography for you, and you can use this as a template. So if we click on it, it's going to open it within Office 365 or whatever, but you can download this and save it on your computer. And this will already have everything set up that you need. All you need to do, of course, is change out the sources and the annotations. This will be your last name. This will be your full name. This will be my name, which is not Carlin's. I love Amber Carlin's, but I'm not her. Pierce, last name Pierce. Okay. You'll need to change the date to update it, of course. And then you'll notice that the citations are hanging indent. They are in alphabetical order. So it doesn't matter. You don't put the story first and then the others. You just, everything is in alphabetical order. And you're going to have the official MLA citations followed by a short 2 to 4 sentence summary. Okay. Notice that the summaries just go at the end of the citation. You don't have to have a whole new paragraph or anything. Just you can put them right at the end of the citation. Okay. So let me show you, and I'm going to have to double share here. Hold on 1 second. Let me open a new document. Okay, and let me reshare. Okay, so when I am creating an MLA works cited page, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're not writing the paper yet, but we're going to basically, we're creating what will eventually go on our works cited. Once we get to the paper, you won't need those annotations anymore, and you may not use all of these sources in the paper. You may use most of them. You could use just 3 or 4 of them. That's fine, but you will need to do the list anyway. So it's gonna be great. When you are creating an MLA document, if you wanted to do this from scratch, like I said, you can use the template. That will be helpful. You can also do it kind of yourself. The first thing we need to do is turn on the plain double spacing. So I'm going to go to layout and I want my spacing to be 0 both before and after. Then I can go back to the home page and turn on double spacing. If this, I don't know why it's not showing other than I don't have it on full screen, but we do have a style pane. You can click on no spacing and then Control 2 to double space. That's fine as well. Okay. We're going to insert the page or the page number. Sorry, my brain just got lost. And we're going to put that in the header. And next to the page number, you're going to write your last name. So we're going to use one of my favorite people lately. You don't know which Kelsey yet, though. And we're going to change that to Times New Roman. Now, If you use the default, I'm fine with that, but you want to use the default throughout. So if you're going to change to Times New Roman, you're going to change it everywhere. Okay, we're going to use Kylie Kelsey. I like all the Kelseys, but we're going to use Kylie. I can't spell her name, however. All right, and then last name Pierce, ENC1102, and I'm just going to use today's date because I'm doing this on the 19th, oops, 2025. You will create a title. In this particular one, we're going to call this the annotated fiction. Oops, can't spell. Fiction bibliography. Okay. Now, left margin, and we're going to turn on what's called the hanging indent. There's a couple of different places you can do that. Layout is one of them. You can also just use the arrows. Okay, so we take the bottom arrow, and what this does is this is what creates that hanging indent. Okay, so it will not go back out to the regular margin until I hit enter. All right, let's talk about where to get these citations from. So in the LibGuide, let me go back. Let me go back. In the LibGuide, oh, I've already got it open. You will have access to the real, honest to goodness MLA citations for almost all of these sources. The only thing we're going to have to worry about is to get the one for the story because it's going to link us to a website, which we'll talk about. But I'm going to use the one for this story because it's already in here. So you'll notice that when you click on the cite button, Miss Rackley has kindly provided that for us. So all we have to do is copy it and then we're going to paste it. I'm going to do match formatting. It's been pretty good lately, but sometimes if you don't use match formatting, the italics go away and it's hard to remember to put those back in. So we're going to put that, and then this is where we would write our short summary. Okay, so there's my summary. Now, let's talk about the other sources. In the author biographies, you have access to the citations. When you click on it, you will notice that right at the top of the page, here is the cite button. So we're going to choose this. MLA is the default, so that's awesome. We're going to copy and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go back to our Word document and we're going to paste with match formatting. This is where I will then write my summary and go to the next one. Now, one thing I want you to notice is that when you are pulling these citations, you do want to make sure that you pay attention to where the italics are and all that, because if you do have to go back in and put them in, you do want to put them in. Okay, so let's pick one of these as well. Let's just pick this one. Again, here's the cite button, easy peasy. And let's put that one in. You'll have a total of 10 that you are citing here. And that's it. Now, remember, I mentioned earlier, they need to be in alphabetical order. Now, if I've only got three, I can just move them. Carter's going to go to the top, Donaldson's second, Hemingway's the third. But I'm kind of lazy some days. So I am going to highlight my whole list and I'm going to click on this A to Z button and I'm going to have Microsoft Word sort it for me. If you've got three, not a big deal. But if you've got 10, sometimes it's a pain. And it's nice when they will do it for you. The other thing you might want to do, you don't have to do this, but you'll notice that here, Gale eBooks, we have a big blank space. That's because this URL is super long. If you want to make it spaced out a little bit more, you can put a space in somewhere here and it will take up the room. You don't have to do that, but if you want to, it's a quick and easy way to do it. Once you're done with that, you're going to save it. You're going to turn it in. I'm going to save this document and I'm going to share this in the announcement with the video. So if you want to use this instead of the sample that Miss Rackley has created, you will be able to save this version as well. Obviously, it's only got 3 things on it. You're going to need a lot more than that, but it will help you. Now, let's say that you're going to use a source that you find online. So let's go to the internet for a second. And let's look for a source that we can find fully online. So let's just go to Google. And I'm going to put in criticism because you still, even using internet, you want to use good sources. So you do want to have more than just put in cat in the rain. So I am going to put in cat in the rain and I'm going to put it in um, quotation marks so that it's looking for that whole title. So there we go. And we have quite a few things. Um, I'm just going to pick, I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick this one. Now, this is a paper that we don't have the whole thing of right now. So this would not necessarily be something we would want to use. So let me choose a different one. Let's see if this one gives it to you in PDF. So let's take a look at this one. All right, so we have a PDF. We could read the whole article. This is a pretty major article, which is fine. In order to cite something that you find online, however, we do need to get the actual URL, and we're going to use a tool that will help us to cite it. This particular one, um, let's see if this works. It may or may not. So the website that I'm going to share with you is called Scribber, and it has a citation generator. It is a free website, and this one is already turned on to MLA. The default for Scribber is APA, so you may have to change this, but it's already here. So let's see if if this URL works. It may not. No, it doesn't. But we can still use it. We can do cite manually, and it's going to ask us what we have. We have an online article. Um, I would pick I would pick journal article here and let it walk you through what you need. So it's got a place for the title, which would be, where did that go? Here it is. The title would be Psychoanalytical Approach to Cat in the Rain. So I'm going to copy this and paste that in. The journal name is the International Journal of Multidisciplinary and Culture or Current Educational Research. Again, I can copy and I can paste, which is nice. The author is and I'm going to have to change the order of this, but I'm going to copy the name just because it's a lot of spelling. So we're going to put, the whole thing here, and then we're going to change the typing or the capitalization and stuff. So we're going to put, and this was Mukazo. Okay, so volume number, we get that from the PDF. It's volume 7, issue 3. So volume 7, issue 3. If it has an E locator, it may or may not. Let's see what we have here. It doesn't, I don't see one anywhere that we would use. Well, maybe this. This might be the E locator. So let's put that. Why not? And it was published in 2025. It does not give a month or date, which is fairly usual in journals. 25, no month, no day. And then we have we did not, here's the link to the PDF, so we can just put that URL. Let's do the share. There we go. Okay, and then we put that here. And this will let you do the annotation directly in here, and then you can copy the whole thing over. But I just want to do the cite source for you right now. Here is our citation. So let's take this and put it in our in there. I'm just going to put it in order while I've got it. And then I want to show you how to cite a regular website as well. So let me just go back to Google. And let's just look for Ernest Hemingway. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a thing of information. Here's a good one. A lot of people do use this. Here's the biography from the Nobel Prize website. So we're going to copy this URL and we're going to come back up here, place this in the box and cite it. And we do have the citation. So we're going to copy this and we're going to put this in our thing. So Nobel Prize is our alphabetizing, so it is in order. I will mention if you do need to alphabetize something that doesn't have an author and you want to use the sort feature, you'll need to take that quotation mark off, otherwise it gets really confused. But we've already put it in order, so we're in good shape there. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to save this for you. If you have other questions about it, let me know. But this will be a good one that you could use as a template along with the one that Miss Rackley has for you as well. So I will see you back here in week 3. I hope everybody has a great week too, and don't hesitate to reach out if you've got questions. Take care, everybody.